Tonight I wanna see the bright lights over me. Show me something magical, something beautiful. Come and take me higher, set my world on fire tonight, tonight. Show me everything I want and more. You take me right around the world. I'm feeling tonight, got me feeling so right.
This week on Top Billing, Jonathan shares how his fantasy life became his real job after winning the Top Billing Presenter Search. Tells you how the show became his springboard to making reality TV world history. To interviewing his childhood hero Bruce Willis and college celebrity crush Cameron Diaz. To ballooning across incredible Namibia or taking on the Highland Games champion in a kilt. As for the rest of British style, Natasha Ndlovu gives us the blogger's guide to London Fashion Week, where some of Jonathan's most embarrassing moments still made great TV. And Nico Panaggio brings you the story from this picture-perfect seaside hideaway of the Knight family.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to Top Billing. The night Jonathan Boynton-Lee first said those words, he knew that his dream had become a reality. This week, he lets us into his personal experience of the unimaginable adventure that began the day that he won the Top Billing Presenter Search.
Whilst he had a flourishing career in commercials, at these auditions, the slightly bashful guy with a double-barreled name was starting from scratch like everyone else.
Thinking back to my audition, I think everyone knows the story now about how I'd broken up with my girlfriend at the time, and it was really fate and meant to be. And standing in that queue for 9 hours with 3,000 people. My first audition, I think, is horrible. Like, they obviously saw something. I struggle to even watch it now. Yesterday morning, I was shooting till 4 o'clock. I had my hair spray painted black, which I was unable to get out this morning, which freaked me out because when I picked up my nephew from school, he threw up on my t-shirt, which I was going to wear for Top Billing. So I had to change on the way here. I was 15 minutes late. I was incredibly nervous, but when I walked in, Jeannie made me feel very comfortable and helped me to prepare a fantastic link.
Did that really happen to you?
Yeah. I've still kept my audition number, 2308. It's on my wall next to a whole lot of other special things to me, you know, awards and that sort of thing. I've kept the original piece of paper. Another cool moment on Presenter Search was when I had to, you know, get a tattoo. I've got tattoos of all special places in my life. And I thought, you know, my nephew was the one who broke the news to me that I'd made top 10, and I thought it's, you know, it's only appropriate that next one was going to be where I found out about, you know, my Top Billing dream coming true, even at the time. Though at the time it wasn't quite true yet. I was top 7 or 8 at that stage.
So you've got some GPS coordinates on this arm, and now you're going to be doing it on that arm, but wasn't that the bad luck arm, ex-girlfriend arm?
There's some great memories there, and what better way to do something special, so. Oh.
That sound.
The first part's always sore.
I can pinch you and kind of counter the pain.
Slowly but surely it was top 8, top 7, top 6, top 4. And even towards the end, I didn't think I would win. How long does it take to prepare for this job? Some would say your whole life. Has it been a marathon? Yes. A blast? Absolutely. My chances? I'd say 1 in 4. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what say you? What is that?
3 out of 3.
Oh, yes.
Full marks for you, Jonathan.
Thank you. And it was incredible. My mom was there. It was her 70th birthday. I remember waiting for the announcement and, you know, heart beating out my chest.
John was up against a vivacious soprano, a super confident DJ, and a charismatic doctor.
The winner of the My Top Billing Dream reality show is...
I've always wanted to see the world, to catch the light, be the one to live the life. Always wanted to fly among the stars.
Jonathan.
It's my dream. I know that I'll go there with you. It's my dream. It's gotta come true tonight.
Looking back at Presenter Search, Strictly Come Dancing for that matter, these, you know, 2 reality shows, I did an interview end of last year and they were like, you realize you're the only person in the world who's won 2 primetime reality shows. And it's the first time it had actually sunk in that I'd been on 2 of the most incredible journeys But it shows you how in the moment I was. I was always just taking it day by day, and I was just so lucky to have those incredible experiences. And looking back, I just don't know how I did it. Like, I can't give you tips, I can't give you advice, other than be completely in the moment, enjoy every second of it, and don't worry if you're going to go home tomorrow. You know, that's kind of the technique I used, and it seems to have worked so far. So yeah, I'm just so lucky to have experienced those incredible moments in my life.
He set out to meet adventure, and he's found it.
The tougher the challenge, the better he got. And this week, Jonathan proves in many different ways why the right man won.
Coming up, Jonathan finds viewers love more than just his presenting skills. And how many A-list voicemails has he got on his phone?
You can't help but watch the guy. And while the cameras have rolled, the audience has seen Jonathan reveal many talents, from presenting to dancing to just being a downright sexy dude. So it's little wonder that when the public votes, Jonathan tends to win the contest.
Sexy means different things to different people. But in this instance, readers seemed unanimous.
It's not even 3 years that I've been with Top Billing, and to think of everything that's happened over the last couple of years with regards to success stories and things that I've won, every single time, and this is not, I'm not just saying this, it was like a situation right from the presenter search where I was in a situation and I was like, there's no chance I'm winning this. I mean, it's easy for me to say something like that for Strictly Come Dancing and Cosmo's Sexiest Man and the You Spectacular Awards. I mean, you honestly think you don't have a chance in that situation, being so new to the industry, so to speak, and having not been around for a long time. So, geez, to try and describe the feeling of winning stuff like that, I can't.
So the sexiest man in South Africa for 2014 is Jonathan.
Jonathan Boynton-Lee, you are South Africa's sexiest man. How does it feel?
It's a bit overwhelming at the moment. I don't really know what to say, dude.
You know, you always dream about these things, but you don't really think they'll ever happen. So when they do happen, you honestly are lost for words. There's nothing to describe it. But the cool thing was that just by chance, the Top Billing was there for all of this stuff. Just, you know, they had no idea I was going to win any of it, but just they've been there for everything, which has been awesome.
If ever the odds were stacked against John, it was on the dance floor.
When I started, when Hayley kind of said, show me what you got, I couldn't really show her anything, so she showed me a little routine. And I'll never forget her face because she was so sweet. But I saw this terror and worry on her face when she saw my dance moves for the first time.
We've been rehearsing every single day, non-stop. This guy's putting in massive amounts of time to learn to dance. I can say without a shadow of a doubt, he is the most unrhythmical celebrity I've ever gotten.
And she just said to me, I'm going to be honest with you up front, we're going to have to get you naked for the first 5-6 weeks. It's the only way we're going to ever stand a chance. And sure enough, from the first week, where I got, I think, the lowest score in the history of Strictly Come Dancing, but I was half naked, so it kind of distracted people. That was her tactic, and lots of props and costumes. So by the time people kind of wised up to what we were doing, I was getting the hang of it. So that was an incredible experience, because if you told me one day that I'd win Strictly Come Dancing, that's something that I would never have imagined. I still can't dance unless I rehearse 14 hours a day.
Up against fierce competition for both favourite TV presenter and sexiest man at the You Spectacular Awards, he didn't entirely believe what was happening.
So how do you feel about your 2 nominations this evening?
You know, I've only been in this industry for like 2 years, like it's crazy. And so just to be nominated alongside people that I look up to, and that's enough for me. So to win would just be completely overwhelming. I'm happy with the nominations and going home with this trophy, so it's all good.
Spectacular, I think back to when we were top 4 presenter search, where we got to present an award at You Spectacular, and I remember Jeannie won 2 awards. And I always thought, you know, the fact that I won 2 awards last year was crazy. I always thought that was reserved for someone like Jeannie. She was always the one who used to win 2 awards. You never think it will happen, so that was incredible to win 2 awards in the evening.
Congratulations, Team Top Billing all the way. We knew you had it in you, and you got yourself 2. I mean, #overachiever, guys.
No, this is crazy. I mean, just to be nominated for an award for doing what you love, never mind winning one, it's just completely overwhelming. And the cool thing about these awards is it's not about us. It's not about patting each other on the back. It's about the people who vote for us and the fans and the support base, who are the really important people.
just coming full circle from thinking back to when I was presenting that award as one of the top 4, not knowing if I was going to win the competition, not knowing if that was maybe the last time I was ever going to be on a stage like that. Cut to 2-3 years later, and I'm receiving the awards. That was a really awesome moment.
2 awards well deserved.
Now, as good as he is on camera, Jonathan has a whole parallel life as a writer and director. He's more than a triple threat in the filmmaking game, which means when he's interviewing the stars, he always has the inside edge.
He's covered the Tom Cruise blockbuster Edge of Tomorrow, new takes on superheroes, gone toe-to-toe with Idris Elba, and interviewed all 3 of the other women at once.
My first big junket was The Hobbit, was the first Hobbit movie. That was, I think it was one of my first sort of trips overseas, was definitely my first trip overseas to interview big stars. And it wasn't an easy first junket because The Hobbit's got a massive cast and we interviewed all of them. And you've got to prepare and think about who you're going to ask what, and sometimes an actor will give you an answer that you were going to get from another actor, and you're going from room to room, so you've got to adjust very quickly. So it was good to learn. It was baptism by fire. I think Martin Freeman was the first guy I interviewed, so I interviewed the Hobbit himself.
Peter said at the beginning of shooting that you are the closest person to a Hobbit he's ever met, and I think audiences now totally agree with him because you've taken this character and you've made it your own in such a beautiful way.
Well, thank you, thank you. Well, he's pretty hobbity himself, so he's a good judge of character. Yeah.
Interviewing Queen of the British screen Helen Mirren and megastar Bruce Willis together, John just wore his heart on his sleeve.
Before I went in to interview Bruce Willis, everyone said to me he's the difficult oak and he's a bad interview and he won't give you anything and don't even think about asking for a picture afterwards and stuff. But I went in there and the first thing I said to him was like, you know, my memories of you are the Die Hard movies.
I have something to thank you for, Bruce. They talk about the magic of the movies, and my earliest memory of experiencing that movie magic is sitting with my dad in our little TV lounge and watching John McClane and Die Hard movies. So
very nice.
Thank you for helping me experience that movie magic.
And, you know, he just kind of melted at that point, and I had him. Like, he loved that. And he was the one who even asked for a picture afterwards. He's like, don't you want a picture, man? Because I was too terrified, because the PR teams are normally the ones that are like, don't even speak to him, don't ask for pictures. But he was so cool. And he kind of posed for a picture with me, and it was really, really cool. That was a great interview.
You'll need to go into the past to end this war before it ever begins.
Hugh Jackman, one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. What a cool guy. Unfortunately, too nice, because he wanted to chat so much that by the time we'd finished chatting, I could ask like 2 questions about the movie, because he wanted to know about South Africa, and he just shot Chappie there with Neil Blomkamp, and he wanted to know how things were going, and he asked me about my flight, and he understood it was such a long flight, and he's like, are you all right, man? You must be tired. And just such a nice dude, man. And I gave him you know, the whole Aussie Springbok rivalry. I gave him a Springbok scarf.
Those colours look good on you. You should,
man.
should change allegiance, actually.
I don't know if I'll go that far, but I'm happy to wear the flag. It's even made in South Africa. Now, that's impressive.
Confronted with 3 degrees of gorgeous in the other women, John played a trump card.
So the voicemails, that's a thing that I've become quite well known for after the Cameron Diaz thing. The story behind it was I actually in college, when Something About Mary came out, when Cameron Diaz was every guy's dream woman. At that time, I remember saying to my mates, I'm like, one day I'm going to meet her and she's going to do my voicemail for me.
I've got this bucket list, okay, and right on top of the bucket list, along with becoming a top billing presenter and freediving the sharks and solving teleportation and climbing Kilimanjaro, get Cameron Diaz to do your voicemail.
Oh, no way, really?
Still got this piece of paper that I wrote down, like visualizing meeting Cameron Diaz, and you know, when I told her that story, it was easy.
Hey, it's Cameron Diaz. Jonathan can't get to the phone right now. He's really busy giving me a foot rub. He'll get back to you as soon as he can. Okay, have a beautiful day.
So I did the same with Channing Tatum. He did an awesome one for me.
Okay, yo, what's going on? This is Channing Tatum. Jonathan can't come to the phone right now. He's grinding on some girls over in the corner. Hey, Jonathan, come on. Hey, you got a phone call. You got a phone call, homie.
Even better. Thank you, brother.
It's so awesome. Channing Tatum. And another moment with Channing. So I sat down for the interview.
We need to hire you in the movie, man.
Yeah, seriously, man.
And he's like, jeez, dude, we got Magic Mike 3 coming up, man. You should cast for this movie. We want you in this movie. And that was like another, wow, that's pretty awesome. Channing Tatum wants me in Magic Mike 3.
They may wear costumes, But it isn't Halloween. They're real-life superheroes.
Another awesome junket was Kick-Ass 2 with Chloe Grace Moretz. The first movie was incredible. I was a massive fan of Chloe, the original hit girl. Incredible young actress, like still so young, and her movie resume is just so impressive. Congrats again on another fantastic performance. I mean, I don't think there's anybody else who could play this role.
Oh, thank you. I mean, you know, she's very close to my heart. You know, I think that Hit Girl's a character that I've really grown up with since I was 11 years old. You know, so I've really grown and changed with her. Now, I've had many sort of pinch me top billing moments, but this was definitely one of them. So I went straight from the interview to the airport, getting ready to fly home. And I was in the lounge and I was getting some food. And I hear behind me someone calling my name, Jonathan, come over here, like a girl's voice. And I turn around and there's Chloe Grace Moretz, like just calling me over to come have a drink with her and chill with her. Like, you know when you turn around and you, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, I couldn't remember how she knew me. And she'd remembered me from the interview, and she remembered my name and where I was from. And it was a real pinch me moment. Like, only on Top Billing can something like that happen. It was crazy to Hit Girl calling me over to have a drink. It was awesome.
Expect to see him in more movies from 2016.
I've made a film or two myself, Jonathan. Maybe we should have lunch. Maybe we make a movie together, huh? I'll get my people to call your people, or you can get your people to call my people. Or I can just see you at the office.
Just ahead, for all he's seen, John still rates the ghost towns, dunes and deserts of Namibia as the most astounding wonders on Earth.
The magic of working on the show is that it takes you places you could never have conceived of. When Jonathan arrived in Namibia, he felt like he'd landed on another planet.
This ghost town lies just inland from Lüderitz. The question was how it went from producing a fifth of the world's diamonds to this.
Kommanskop in Namibia was honestly one of the most beautiful places I've ever shot at. Like, it's this old ghost town that was built on diamonds. In the old days, they used to just be scattered across the sand, so people could literally just pick up diamonds. That's how thriving that area was. And they built this entire village and town on the discovery of those diamonds, just in the middle of nowhere, in the Namibian desert. One of the most beautiful places I've ever seen, because now it's just a complete ghost town.
The town had a very short lifespan, 40 years it lived, thrived and died in that time.
The further you go south, the bigger the diamonds get. So by 1928, bigger and better diamonds was found in Oranjemund. So by 1938, most of the workers and equipment went from Kommanskop to Oranjemund, but only in 1956 did the hospital close in Kommanskop, and then the last inhabitants started to leave, leaving this town just for the ghosts.
So being in the middle of the Namibian desert, it's really hot, you know, there's no humidity, it's that dry heat. So there's no escape from it, and the heat is just coming off the sand as well. It is just coming from all angles.
What could possibly be so special all the way up here on this hill?
Well, this is now where the people of Kommanskop came to cool off, the swimming pool.
What? The swimming pool? Perfect. Why didn't you say so before? I'm gonna have a quick dip. Oh no! There's no water!
And it was just so disappointing, man. I just pictured myself just falling into that water and just lying there in the heat, and there was nothing, man. I suppose middle of the desert, what can you expect?
Magic lay ahead on a flight over the Namib Desert, known to the local Nama people as Vast Place.
My first ever hot air balloon ride was with Top Billing, of course, so many firsts. And, you know, Top Billing don't mess around. It was in the Vlei above the sand dunes.
When was the last time you did something for the first time? The sun's just about to rise over the horizon, and I'm about to embark on my first ever hot air balloon ride.
And I just remember the stillness more than anything else. Like, apart from the occasional gust of that flame that comes up to get you up, you're completely at the mercy of the wind, and you just float.
Vlei comes from the ancient Namakwa language. The word Sosis means great gathering place of water, and that's exactly what it is, the end of the river that forms a lake in the dunes. Yeah.
This is pretty much the perfect time to view the dunes because the sun just catches the dune on the one side, that red, and then on the other side you've got complete shadow.
All the nice shadows, yeah, that's right.
Beautiful
gives you
contrast.
a nice perspective, and yeah, great contrast with the grass, especially now, mountains, plains, dunes, everything coming together.
Beautiful. And what gives it that red color?
Apparently it's a content of iron. It's got a lot of iron, so it's the iron oxide that makes it sort of rusty. And it's the rust that gives it that color.
And then our landing, the moments I like most on top billing, where it's unexpected, the camera rolls, you have to brace yourself with a basket hitting the ground.
Maybe a sports landing, take position.
Sport landing just means that nothing. It's a nice way of saying we're about to crash land. That's what we're about to do right now.
But that's when one of the moments I remember realizing what my strengths were, and that's the reality stuff, and being in the moment and just going with what's happening around me.
I'm waiting for the braces like coming.
And here we go, guys.
He's going crazy on the ropes there.
Laat deep, Owens. Laat deep.
We're going down. That's awesome. I want to do it again. Now that's how you land a hot air balloon.
Namibia saved the best for last. The mind-bending place where Hollywood shot the psychological thriller, The Cell.
Now, Vlei is one of the most photographed places in the world, and for good reason. It's got the white sand and the blackened fossilized trees, and then the red sand dunes and the blue sky. I mean, if you've seen the pictures. So to be there was completely surreal, walking through that dead pan and looking up at the sand dunes. Just the feeling of being in that environment, and it was so surreal. It was like walking through a movie set, and I've had many moments like that on top billing where you're at a place that you've only seen pictures of or seen in the movies, and when you're finally there, it takes a while for it to all kind of sink in.
Willem, it's very difficult to believe that just over 1,000 years ago this was all covered with water.
This actually used to be a river who runs all the way to the ocean, but due to these dunes actually move in, Big Daddy over there was one of the first forming dunes in the area, and they have actually blocked up the water here. And later on, what happened is these dunes we have here also formed, and they have blocked up the water this side, and the water actually didn't get any more access into that Vlei. That's why these trees you see around here, they all died because of no more water.
It's amazing that after nearly half a century, the trees are still so solid. They don't crumble when you hit them. I mean, how have they kept intact for so long?
In this area, as you see, we have a clay part here, clay layer. So there's no termites who can actually eat the plant, and there's no bacteria in them as well. As you see, they're still standing upright. They actually hold by this clay that you see here, and the roots of them can dive down to 40 to 45 meters deep in the ground, and that's actually still holding the tree. And as you see, why they're so black is because of the heat up by the sun, because this area can get up to 55 degrees.
And I remember looking up at Big Daddy, which is, I think, might be the second tallest sand dune in the world. And we're looking up at Big Daddy there, and the sand is kind of brushing over the top with the wind, and our guide was like, okay, we're going to climb that now. And the further we got up, because of the iron in the sand, it was getting incredibly hot. And by the time we were at the top, I could hardly walk anymore because my feet were completely burned. But by the time I get up there, I'm covered in sand, I'm sweating, I've got my shirt wrapped around my head, I've got no shoes on. But what an experience, man, getting to the top.
Yes, we made it.
All right.
High five. I'm covered in sand, I'm sunburnt, but at least we made it to the top of the tallest dune in Namibia.
No, not the tallest, the second tallest in Namibia.
Willem, they don't have to know that. But seriously, it's beautiful up here, and they say if you love a place, take nothing but your memories and leave only your footprints behind.
That's right.
And you know what? That's what I'm going to do now. So, race you to the bottom.
Right. Woo!
Next up, John dons a kilt for a Scottish adventure. Plus, how Natasha Ndlovu has made a thrilling life as a London blogger.
We all know that saying about when in Rome, but Scotland is a lot colder than Rome, and observing the local dress code requires a brave heart, especially when you're tossing the caber in nothing but a kilt.
Edinburgh is where J.K. Rowling conceived and wrote the best-selling Harry Potter series. Sherlock Holmes author Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was born here, and it's where one style hasn't gone out of fashion for 500 years.
Hi, how are you? Great store you got, Chad. I didn't even know where to start with all this selection.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we start kilts from £345 up to £795. All the kilts we do are hand-stitched and tailor-made to each individual person.
In South African rands or any terms, that is quite a price for half an outfit.
It is. Yeah, but the amount of time and effort and workmanship that goes in that £345, and the amount of fabric as well. There is 7.6 metres of cloth.
7.6 metres in one kilt?
In every kilt. So this is...
Ah, there we go. That would explain the price. That's a lot of material.
It is. Very warm.
Very well. What about the breeze? That's the problem. That's what I'm worried about.
Well, you won't have to worry. If the kilt's made properly, hangs and swings, and it doesn't blow about in the breeze.
At Dundas Castle, Jonathan had to prove himself worthy of a kilt.
Having to perform Highland games where you had to do a lot of exercises and throw things, and they put me up against like the guys ranked second in the world or something with Highland games. So he was doing these things with ease. I looked like a complete idiot.
You make it look easy then.
Yeah, I've been doing the games now for a long, long time, you know.
How do you psychologically block out that ice-cold breeze which is creeping up your kilt there?
Well, us Scottishmen are pretty hardy people. You know, we live in this cold weather. We don't bother about the cold.
And you're one of the top 5 in the country when it comes to that.
Yeah, I've been one of the top guys now for a long, long time. Over 20, 25 years now. And to learn the equipment, you need to train for a long, long, long time to get good at it.
The Highland Games go back about 1,000 years.
Yeah, they've been around for just over 1,000 years. And it was like a test of manhood, really, to see who was the strongest in the clan. And whoever was the best would be the courier. And that's how the games evolved.
And that's where the history lesson ended.
Well, we've got the weight here, so I think it's about time you gave us a go and show us how good you are, what kind of a man you kind of are.
It's a little bit unfair going up against you, but I mean, you know, whatever.
You've got to give it a go.
Okay.
Right, so one hand on the thigh, swing it back once between the legs, drive the knees forward, lift up, and throw the weight up over the bar.
Okay. How many swings do I get before I throw?
It's 2 or 3. Well done. Here we are now to the caber. This is, in my eyes, the event of the Highland Games.
Yeah, when I think Highland Games, I think of this.
Yeah, everybody associates the Highland Games with this event.
At almost 6 meters and 80 kilos, it's a serious pole.
We hug the caber. Squat down, squat down, squat down, squat down, squat down. Go on here.
The original idea was to toss a log over a channel so you could walk across it. The perfect throw points straight ahead.
And there we go, 12 o'clock.
That's a perfect one.
National pride was at stake.
Stand up straight. Right, pull the caber in, pull the caber into your body. Yeah. That's it, boy. That's it. Right, so what you want to do is pull in the body. Now I'm going to run with it, yeah? Run. Right, tip it forward. Up. Yes! Well done.
I got 7.
Well done, man. That was really, really good. Well done. Not bad for the first timer, man.
It's been good to learn from the pros.
Yeah, it's been really good teaching you a few of the events that we do, and I tell you one, you're going to be sore tomorrow.
I'm sore already, man.
Let's go and get the hammer.
You know, that's the great thing about the travelogues, is getting to kind of immerse yourself in a new culture and people, and getting lost in it, and just almost like going on a little backpacking trip with your mates. That's what I like about travelogues, is taking the viewer on that journey with you.
Even in a skirt.
From Scottish menswear to London Fashion Week for some of the most cutting-edge designs from across the fashion world. Roxy joins blogger Natasha and Ndlovu as they take their social media fans along with them. And since they're roaming on Vodacom Travel Saver, well, they can Snapchat every single pinch yourself moment.
With the catwalk shows attended mostly by press, buyers and stylists, bloggers make these festivals of design inclusive and immediate. Natasha Ndlovu is a leading light of this evolution in media, which puts her followers in the pound seats.
I'm not surprised that I found you here at London Fashion Week because you are, of course, a model/blogger. Is this one of the most exciting times of the year for you?
It is, because it's like you get to meet up with everybody that you usually see online and catch up with international bloggers and models. So it's pretty much like a meeting ground. So it's like a high school reunion of sorts, except mixed in with fashion.
You're Zimbabwean-born, South African-raised. How did you end up in London?
I used to do modeling, basically. I still do a little bit. And so when I was studying abroad in Paris, I got the opportunity to move to London. So I went back to Canada, finished my studies, and then moved here. And so did the modeling, then got into blogging. I was looking at magazines and I was seeing this, you know, this blogger, such and such, a person has a blog, and I just decided to start one to kill time. And then it became a hobby turned into what's essentially now a full-time job, and here I am.
What is the role of a blogger here at Fashion Week?
The blogger is the go-between the audience and the brand or the show, because a lot of brands nowadays, they do have social media, but we still bring in more of that extra bit that's not carefully curated. So people want to see things happening live on Snapchat, and it's raw, it's not, you know, hyper edited like when you put stuff on Instagram. So it's all about passing on that information and letting people know what's happening, even showcasing the newer unknown designers, because we all know the top brands, but people want to know the up and coming young talent, which is very important and very good as well.
If you have a smartphone, the right connection, and a nose for a fashion story, there are no barriers to entering this market. It's competitive but supportive, as you'll find at 01 Hopkins Street, Soho.
What an exciting vibe. Tell me about this space.
So the apartment is a hub for bloggers to come in between shows, to have some food, refuel, and if they want to use the computer space to work on their articles, as well as borrow clothes from some of the brands that are featured there. Yeah, it's like a home away from home. It's an apartment for you to just touch up and move on to the next bit of London Fashion Week.
The fact that this space exists just proves how the bloggers have become the it girls of the front row. How did you ladies get here?
There's people out there that love the content that you create. So the thing with bloggers is the fact that here we are putting ourselves out there, this information about fashion, keeping it real, and the audience wants more. And then the brands recognize that and they decide, you know what, these are the type of people that we want at our shows to bring the information to the reader, to the viewer. So essentially, I guess that's kind of how I got here. I just put myself out there on the internet and boom, yeah, someone responded back.
Other than London Fashion Week, where do you get your inspiration from?
Just all around me, really. It's just day-to-day things when you go out and it's beautiful weather, or you're out in the park, or you're just in an amazing environment and you just think to yourself, okay, how can I tie this into fashion or into the things that I love? Because there's always something inspirational and aspirational about the things around us.
It's a new kind of business driving the creative industries, and it makes Abisola Omole very proud.
Abby, you've created a beautiful space. Why did you start the apartment?
So it was around 4 years ago. I needed a space because I was a blogger and it was Fashion Week and it was so busy and we had lots of work we needed to do. I mean, as influencers, we were posting things live, not just waiting a few months. And so just needing a place that wasn't a cafe, that had Wi-Fi, that had people that, you know, I could know, because the blogging community was quite separated at the time. There wasn't a place we could all go. And so I just thought, again, actual apartment, and we'd hang out, we'd be able to be in the space and get work done. And I guess at that time I was at university and it was just like a test, I guess you could say, and then it turned into an expectation, and so I had to continue, which was great because it went so well. And now we're on our 8th season, which is kind of crazy, and now we are in New York and London, obviously, and Paris, and we're doing a few other cities, but it was just the idea of bringing influencers together in a place that they could create content.
Roxy could explore London managing her roaming with Vodacom's Travel Saver. An experience like the Portobello market could be captured in the moment and shared around the world just as quickly.
Snapchat takeover, myself and Natasha walking the streets of Notting Hill looking for fabulous fashion. Love it! So with Vodacom Travel Saver, you're always connected on social media, and we are sharing our fabulous fashion style adventures from around the world.
This market stretches for almost a kilometre through the renowned festival hub of Notting Hill. While Fashion Week lasts just 7 days, Portobello offers the best of British design 52 weeks a year.
Is this a day in the life of a fabulous blogger like yourself, sitting in Notting Hill, sipping coffee and working?
Pretty much. I mean, not all the time. Sometimes it's not as glamorous as this, but I love to get out of the house and work in an environment that's more inspiring, and just being around people, because it keeps me going and keeps me working at a faster pace than if I'm at home, you know, in my PJs looking like Bridget Jones or something.
Tell me a little bit about your blog.
So my blog is a fashion and lifestyle website. It's all about being in London, the things that I love to wear, the places that I love to go and eat, as well as when I travel, the places that I visit and what's there and what's cool to check out in terms of fashion, food, and lifestyle, basically.
These days, blogging isn't just about blogging. Social media is very important. How do you use it to support your blog?
Nowadays, they say that not a lot of people read blogs, so we use the Instagrams, the Twitters, etc. to drive people back to the blog. Essentially, it becomes a bit of a teaser as well. And it's good for the brands because that's how brands discover you and they see your audience, and they see the interaction that you have with your audience and what people like. And so in turn, that's good for us as bloggers when we put ourselves out there to the people that we potentially want to work with.
Do you think that in South Africa we have the opportunity to get to the point where we can represent ourselves at New York, London Fashion Week?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Obviously, when you look at blogging and social media, the internet is the key point in getting yourself out there and people connecting with one another. And of course, content is very, very important. You want to make something, create stuff that is relevant to where you are, but also translate internationally. So there is a potential there. The more people do it in South Africa, then the more the world will listen and pay attention and see what's happening, on the other side of the world.
Here's to you, and here's to you, the next generation of amazing South African bloggers inspired by Natasha. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's amazing. You have the whole world at your fingertips, if you have the right connection.
Up next, Jonathan makes Anna Wintour wait, does his Top Gear gig reeking of sardines, and gets into a fist fight for charity.
Up to this point in the story, you'd think that Jonathan has lived nothing but a charmed life on television, always walking between the raindrops. But my dear fellow presenter knows otherwise. Here are a few moments which didn't exactly go according to plan.
In London, Jonathan wore red pants for Fashion Week, but the taxis still didn't notice him. Unlike the owner of this carnival store, where John hit everything except the target.
20 seconds.
Okay, well, how about if I told you it's going to take that long?
Let go, John!
I'm really clumsy. You can speak to the crew. I fall a lot, completely unintentionally. So one of the first moments people realized that was shooting with Roxy and Tracy, one of my first shoots. Two beautiful women in bikinis on a tropical island. I didn't think it could get any better than that. Everything Top Billing seems to be, it is. And we had this idea that I was going to do this amazing Baywatch entrance, run slow motion through the ocean towards these two girls, and they were going to look at me in the distance and think, yeah, so he's just coming towards us, and it was going to be epic. And I just face planted so badly.
What are you doing?
I'm falling for you guys already, clearly. There's a lot of stuff that goes wrong, which makes for good viewing, I guess. The important thing about presenting is you got to be able to make fun of yourself. If you take yourself too seriously, if you want to always look good, this is not the job for you. You've got to be able to be able to laugh at yourself, and you've got to let the viewers laugh at you. And Simba was really good at that as well. Just having fun, not being good at everything, and it's really cool.
My first big show at London Fashion Week, this is what I call organized chaos. Hundreds of people coming together for 15 minutes.
Fashion Week is hectic. You got to, South Africa, everyone knows the Top Billing is. Overseas, not a lot of people know. So you got to really hustle your way into the shows. You got to literally push people out the way. You got to, do whatever you can to get into, not only to the show, but to backstage, to be able to interview the celebrities and the designers and everything. So you got to push people out the way and get quite aggressive. Now, Anna Wintour, who's royalty in fashion world, was sitting next to Andy Murray, tennis player. Now, Andy Murray I knew because I'm a tennis fan. So I was making a beeline for Andy Murray because I knew who he was. And Anna was actually surrounded by bodyguards, but she was calling us over. She wasn't doing interviews. She was calling us over to actually, for some reason, be interviewed. And I remember just telling her to wait, just hang on and we'll talk to you now. And then started talking to Andy Murray, who gave me nothing.
What are you most excited about for tonight?
I don't know what to expect. This isn't really my world, but it's a nice thing to be able to do with my girlfriend. She's a big fan of fashion, so it's a good thing to do.
Anna's busy, kind of tapping her fingers and waiting for us to talk to her. Luckily, she still spoke to us. Didn't know what to ask her because I didn't know who she was, so I just went with the the standard, what can we expect from the show type of thing. She gave us this incredible answer.
I just want to know, what can we expect from tonight's show, do you think?
Well, I had a quick look backstage and it looks very colourful and optimistic, a little bit sexier than we're used to from Burberry's. It looks wonderful.
And only afterwards did we realize that it was Anna Wintour. But that sums up my Fashion Week experiences, because I don't know anything about fashion. But I redeemed myself. I got Harry Styles, literally rugby tackled him almost, because he was walking out of the show surrounded by a mob of people, and I had to redeem myself in some way, and I thought Harry Styles, everyone wanted to get him. So I literally just said to the camera, just follow me. And I just bulldozed my way through the crowd, stuck the mic in his face and just asked him a question. You can see the first question, he's kind of like, who's this dude?
You're looking very slick. Do you have a personal stylist or do you dress yourself?
We have people that we work with, but usually I think, it's important to just kind of just wear what.
That's about where it ended at Fashion Week. But I guess I've redeemed myself now. It's kind of, I'm getting better.
The day he got to dive with shark warrior Leslie Rochard, the peril lay not in the sharks, but in the sardines.
Shark diving was one of my favorite inserts. They're my favorite animals. It was incredible to be under the water with them. But we had a deadline where we had to, so we were diving in Durban. We had to meet up with Jeremy Clarkson and the guys from Top Gear to interview them at the stadium. So we got so swept up in the shark diving shoot, and obviously to get the sharks to swim where we needed them to, they were throwing sardines at me, and just to create like a feeding frenzy around me. So I smelled like fish oil, like really badly, like you have to break an omega-3 pill all over yourself. That's how I smelled. It was horrible. And we got a call while we were on the boat. I think it was from Jeremy saying, where are you guys? You've scheduled an interview, you need to be here. So we had to climb out of the water, straight to the stadium, no time to shower, nothing. I literally put a shirt over myself. I can't even describe the smell to you. It was kind of like if you leave fish out in the sun for like a couple of days and get to the interview with Jeremy and all of them. And I just remember the three of them standing around a table. And like, as I come in, this waft of smell just hit them and they all kind of like went back. And I remember them saying, yes, dude, you stink, man. So it's all these things that, the viewers don't realize what happens behind the scenes. It's fun looking back at and how hectic the days always are. And it was probably one of the times we've laughed most on set and the people we've interviewed have laughed most on set was with Boyti. Eating chicken feet and tripe and all this traditional food. Like, you got to, part of being a presenter is you got to be up for anything and try anything. You can't back out. And that was difficult, man. But you can make out the hands and
the feet.
The nails.
What are you talking about? Hey, Jonathan, don't be rude about the food. Just pretend like you're eating sushi. Exactly, pretend it's sushi.
I've got like this thing that freaks me out is chicken skin.
And the nails.
And that is all this is chicken skin. Has nothing to do with the taste. It's the texture of chicken skin freaks me out. I took a whole finger. What I do when I've wrapped Strictly Come Dancing, I decide I'm going to box now. I'm going to go and box against Ewan from Expresso, because that's what you do after Strictly Come Dancing. So I've got about 2 weeks to get into shape from being a dancer to a boxer. Thought it's going to be fine, it's a charity event, nothing serious. I'll take a couple of hits, it won't be that bad.
So John, that's the kind of action that you can expect in the ring tonight. Are you ready?
I'm not even watching it. I'm going to go lock myself in the change room and not watch until I actually have to go into the ring. I've got a really good combination that involves avoiding punches. It's just ducking.
And sure enough, first round, I took a great straight right to the face, and it wasn't broken. Okay, I exaggerated. I didn't have a broken nose. I just wanted it sounded more cool. It was a hairline fracture. So I got a hairline fracture on my nose in the first round.
How are you feeling?
Don't make me smile. It's sore to smile right now. My nose. Check how swollen my nose is. You know what? My parents were phoning from round one. My friend had my phone. My dad and my mom were calling because they were so stressed out about this fight.
So things didn't go according to plan in the beginning, which often happens, not just in life, but as a presenter, but you got to go with it. Things can go wrong sometimes and you got to make the most of it and smile and take it on the chin, literally, which I did. I took it on the nose.
Even more than being voted sexiest or best dressed, being the most human TV presenter is why he's such a favorite.
Just like Jonathan, Khosi Mogame has overcome great obstacles to achieve his dreams. As a candidate attorney, he's making a difference in people's lives. And with Standard Bank by his side, moving him forward, he has every chance of success.
Born to modest beginnings, Khosi then navigated learning difficulties in a way that suggested he'd become anything he wanted to be. Now he's proving it.
You must be a pretty busy man being in law.
To be honest, my job is quite demanding, but I try to strike a balance, you know, not to find myself always stuck in my books. And I try to get out a lot, and this looks amazing.
It does look amazing. I'm very excited. What direction are you taking your career in?
Well, growing up, I wasn't really interested in practice and whatnot, but I found myself in law school and I fell in love with the study, or law as a science, when I was in third year. And the direction I'm taking for my career, I just want to stay in corporate, keep it commercial, and try not to be in court as much, you know.
After a demanding degree, Khosi is living life, doing road trips, cycling, and he's ready for adventure.
I must admit, this looks a little bit daunting.
You guys have nothing to worry about. You're going to be on the obstacle course, the Eagle obstacle course. Then also to finish it off, you're going to be going over the zip line over the dam.
Supported by the Standard Bank Professionals offering, Khosi can step forward boldly with his career plans.
You've evolved from a young adult into a young professional. Tell me a little bit about your journey.
I mean, it all started in Benoni. That's where I grew up. I was raised by both my grandparents. I think I was 13 when I left to go live with my parents. That's when I was diagnosed with ADD, and I got put on a whole lot of medication in and out of psychologists' offices, and that's a bit of where I come from, and it all led up to this point.
Having faced all those challenges, you must have a great support structure.
I mean, my family is absolutely amazing. They've been with me, they've seen the worst and they've seen the best, they've seen me achieve and they've seen me fail at times. And yeah, I persevered just because they were there with me at all times.
What advice do you have for others who face adversity?
The first point, just know what you want out of life. Be willing to do whatever it takes to get to wherever it is that you want to go, and just keep it moving. You know, failure is expected, and with failure comes a lot of success.
If professionals like him get preferential rates on credit products and 24/7 always-on support, it's because when they take flight, they tend to take others with them.
That was absolutely so cool. High five, we did it. I'm sure, like the zip line, your life is really chaotic, full of adrenaline, really busy. So when it comes to banking, you want to keep it simple, uncomplicated?
Very true. I'm on the Standard Bank professional banking package, which offers a lot of tailor-made banking for young professionals such as myself. So they make life super, super easy. And what I really like about them is that you get your own private banker who attends to every personal need 24/7.
You have worked so hard to get to where you are in life. I know you're headed for a bright future. What's next?
From this point on would be furthering my studies and, you know, being a specialist within my field and dominating the corporate world.
In the process, he'll help grow the economy, and his bank are with him all the way.
For studying hard for your profession, get the exclusive financial solution you deserve with Standard Bank Professional Banking. Preferential rates, pre-approval on finance, loans and overdrafts. Standard Bank, moving you forward.
Well, as we all know, Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo were both lawyers. So, Khosi, we'll be following your career with great interest. Well, that's our show for the evening, everybody. Thank you for the wonderful company. Good night, and God bless.
Next week, catch the world as only Jeannie D has seen it. From wing walking to high tea with Taylor Swift to interviewing Mary Poppins. She's done donuts with the Stig, jammed with the Beach Boys, cooked family dinner with Gordon Ramsay, and bride with the Antwoord. Get the whole enchilada next Thursday at 7:30.